Hello, everyone. Greetings and salutations. Welcome back to another episode of the Back of the Pack podcast. As you can tell, this is the road trip edition. I am your host, Kyle Walker, and I'm joined by the man who needs no introduction, the man, the myth, the legend, Kody Dyke. Kody, welcome to the Back of the Pack podcast.
Well, thank you so much for having me, Kyle. I'm beyond words.
It is going to be very hard to form words right now. So we are on our way back from Midland, Texas, where we ran the Energy City Half Marathon. And Kody, just off the top of your head, what'd you think of that whole race?
It was 13.5 miles of half marathon. I can tell you that much. It was good. It was
13.5 miles of half marathon. Definitely felt like they measured the course a little long. But, as you all know, we do this for the bling. So, Kody, I mean, if you can lift it, I want you to show them the bling from the Energy City Half Marathon.
I don't know if I can get this all in camera.
It's going to be hard. There it is, folks. There it is. There's our dog tag from the Energy City Half Marathon. Not going to lie, might have been a little disappointment when we saw the medals before the race began. I don't know, what do you think? A little disappointing?
Yeah, it was already cold and dreary, and my ankle hurts, as you well know.
Indeed.
And standing there at the start line before that race, I was hoping for some big, sweet medals with some, like, fighter pilot wings or something. You know, it was top run. And we looked over, and there hang about 300 sets of dog tags.
Yeah. Yep.
And it was kind of took the wind out of the sails a little bit, not going to lie.
Yeah, a little bit. Thankfully, and I want to give a big shout out to our buddy Rob, who was the person who invited us down to run this race. Rob, you were a wonderful host, and as much as we're giving the race a hard time, we really had a great time, and I thank you very much for inviting us down. And thankfully, we know that Rob was also disappointed with the medals.
Yeah, he was. I think he had a few remarks of his own to say about that.
Right. So, yeah, it was a fun trip, and we went and saw a football game last night. And in Texas, if you're not aware, going to Friday Night Light, football, high school football is almost a religious experience down there.
Yeah, it was. I mean, that was the full production. That half that town was in that stadium.
Oh, easily.
Last night. And
yeah.
So, if some of you guys may know, Friday Night Lights, the movie, was the Permian Panthers was the main team of that movie, and their big crosstown rival was Midland Lee, and that was who we went and saw play football last night.
That's right. Yep, we saw Midland Lee last night against the Midland Bulldogs, and yeah, that was a super fun experience. And again, our guy Rob set us up with the tickets to that, so that was fun. And something else you guys need to also keep in mind: we're driving right now, so I'm very sorry about the shaky camera, but I can see the phone bouncing up and down on its little holster here. So
you just gotta do your head like this when you're watching.
Yeah, and everything will look straight. It'll be great. So it sounds like there's a lot going on in Kansas City this weekend. Good job out of everyone who did the Monster Dash. There was also the Spooky Sprint. Good job out of you. And then, Kody, we've got a guy doing a 100-miler. Why don't you talk about that one?
Yeah, the Trails to Train, or Train to Trails.
Something like that.
Rex Hunt out there just absolutely crushing it. I think it's his 6th 100-mile race in the last 2 months or something crazy like that. Finishing off the Heartland Grand Slam series of 100-milers. Guy's an absolute animal, to be honest with you.
I think if you were to look up insanity in the dictionary, probably going to be a picture of him after this weekend, wouldn't you think?
With a gallon of water next to it, for sure. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, there's no freaking way. I'm knocking out 6 100-mile races in any span of time, let alone, big bumps, let alone whatever it is he's been doing. What is this, just been a month or two that this series goes on?
Yeah, I don't know how they got people to sign up for it, to be honest with you, but Rex is out there, and he's absolutely crushing it. He's looking good with the beard, by the way. Loving that.
There you go.
It's wintertime. No Shave November is right around the corner. So.
Well, he got a head start on that one.
Yeah, he did. And it came out as a week, I feel like, because Garmin, I don't think he had one at Garmin, and there he is out there looking rugged like a maniac, and he is a rugged maniac. So.
We are not officially sponsored by Rugged Maniac Running, but if you guys are interested, talk to me. So next weekend, you guys will all be at Longview Lake for the Yeti Challenge. So the very first Yeti Challenge weekend is taking place next weekend. Where on Saturday, you can either run the 5K or the 10K. And then on Sunday, you can go and either do the half marathon or the full marathon if you so desire. So Kody, what are you doing next weekend?
Well, I'll tell you this much. Saturday, I'm not going to be running. I'm going to be walking the 5K. And then I will turn around and be out there Sunday morning for the half marathon to complete the 4 back-to-back weekends of half marathon for me, and listening to the Chiefs game during most of that run, probably.
Yeah, so. While you're running, because remember, if you're doing Yeti, the Chiefs play at like 8 o'clock that morning over in Munich, Germany. So there's a little shout out to our local Kansas City Chiefs team.
I might just have like a 32-inch TV hoisted to me.
Yeah.
About 4 foot in front of me. We can all watch together. Anybody that's slower and that's actually in the back of the pack with me, we can all watch the game together maybe.
Hold on. This is $1 million idea. Andrew, Casey, cosplay runner, your costume can be that of a big screen television playing the Chiefs game Sunday at Yeti. I mean, this seems perfect.
Yeah.
So you don't have to do the work. Let him strap it to his back, and he can be the projector screen going up and down the course.
He's good at it.
I
you
know
what? It would not surprise me if I saw Andrew out there in something like that, to be honest with you.
Yeah, with a television strapped to him and running around. Yeah, that wouldn't surprise me at all. Oh goodness. So that's everything kind of going on locally. But right now we're going to interview Kody. Right now, that's going to be kind of the main crux of the show. It's not like I have notes in front of me. I couldn't prepare anything because I'm driving. So I'm going to quit talking. So Kody, you've been into this running world for just a shade over a year now, correct?
Yeah, year and 4 months.
Okay, what was your very first race?
It was the Stars and Stripes 5K last July 3rd.
Okay, and what got you into running? Like, there's a million different things that people can do. Be like, oh, I want to get in shape or I want to lose weight. People join a gym. People go to yoga class. People decide to hit the weights like crazy. Why did you decide to start taking your feet and putting them one in front of the other rapidly?
So I'll try to give you the Cliff Notes version of this.
Oh, we got time. Fire away.
Basically, I was kind of looking for something to get back into, working out and being active again. It had been a few short months. I had a friend of mine that I work with ask me one day if I wanted to run a marathon. And I laughed at her, to be honest with you. I was like, you are nuts. Absolutely not. Never. And then I thought about it for like 3 or 4 days, and I was like, you know what? That would be really cool. At least just one,
Mm-hmm.
I'd never really dove into the running world. It kind of sat on my brain for a little bit. So I was like, how do I even get started?
Right.
So I Googled running events near me. And I don't know if it was KCRC's page or like Running USA or something popped up. And the next event was Stars and Stripes 5K.
Okay.
And it fell on July 3rd.
Yep.
Well, some of you know me a little bit better than others. July 3rd is the anniversary of my grandfather's death, 3 years prior to that.
Okay.
And he was a mentor, a father figure, my best friend growing up. And he was always at all of my sporting events, cheering me on. And it was like a God wink to me, especially it was 4th of July theme, which was his favorite holiday, and it fell on the day that he had passed. And I was like, I just kind of felt like I had to do it,
Right.
And so I signed up for it, not knowing what to expect. I showed up early that day. I got my packet, and I'll be honest with you, I didn't train. I didn't go out and run any miles.
Right.
And I was like, 3 miles, that's nothing, It had been 8 years since I ran that far. Got out there, got about a mile in, and thought I was going to die. But got to that finish line, and I got that medal, and the community that was around, and just all the post-race stuff, and got that runner's high, and just that good feeling about yourself. And it was only like 8 o'clock in the morning, and I just felt like I could conquer the world at that point in time. And slowly, I think the next run I did was like Groundhog, because it was in the fall that year.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that was, I think, in August around that time, right? Yeah.
So I signed up for that one, did that one. Actually, that's where I met Andrew. I ran behind him. I think he might have been dressed as like Michael Myers or something.
Okay.
And I was just like, God, that's wild. The guy's running in a mask for 3 miles. Like, I cannot breathe without a mask on. I can't imagine having this leather mask on and running. And just, it accumulated after that. I met Scott Green down at, I think, Veterans Day 5K in Parkville. Parkville.
Well, we talked about that on the way down, but talk about meeting Scott.
Yeah, so I got to that race early, and I actually had walked down, I don't know if it was a boat dock or something over there to the river, just to kind of look out. There was a lot of fog on the river that morning. It was really pretty, and I just kind of went down there to collect my thoughts. And as I walked back up, he was standing there and introduced himself, asked me, he obviously had seen me at a couple events prior. He was big in the running world at that time and was like, hey, I've seen you. You're new, obviously. Like, are you from here? What's going on with your story? Blah, blah, blah. And got to talking to him about it. And I was like, yeah, I really like this stuff. This is a lot of fun. And he was like, well, this is a lot of fun. We got a great community here in Kansas City. He said, there's plenty of groups. And he asked me where I lived. And I told him Lee Summit Greenwood. And he said, KCRC is kind of by there. And they have a great team. And I'd seen Jenny at a lot of events, and I was already thinking about becoming a team member. And so that was kind of like my pushing point. Like, he just like kind of shoved me in the deep end at that point. I was like, all right, I'm in. And then I don't think there's been a weekend since I haven't had a run. Maybe two. And that might have been by design. But
all right, so you like I did, you went quickly from, hey, I'm going to do a 5K to, hey, these half marathons sound like a lot of fun. So what was your first half marathon?
So, yeah, it was Garmin KC last year, actually.
So that would be 3 months after you started running.
Yeah.
There we go.
I met a female at Lewisburg Cider Run, and she was telling me about her vacation runs and how she did Sequoia. Or Segura, maybe? I don't. She ran a half marathon for a vacation run.
Okay.
And I was just like, wow, that seems like such a cool thing to do. And decided I was going to sign up and do Garmin with like very little training,
right?
Very little notice, and it was a lot of fun. That's actually Garmin KC last year is where I met Carrie Greenfielder. So,
oh, okay, yep.
We were walking back to the parking garage, and she introduced herself and kind of pulled me even further into the running world. So,
and to sidebar a little bit, and again, I'm not taking any shots at anyone, but Kody and I had both discussed, like, the Kansas City running community, which I have always touted as being wonderful. Now that we've gone and experienced another running community, I just want to give another shout out to how great the Kansas City running community is. Like, nothing against the people of Midland. They're all perfectly lovely, but we were talking to Rob, but they have like 2 races down there a year.
Yeah.
Like, their 2 big races are the Energy City Half Marathon and then one at Christmas time. And that's what they do. That's their running community. So, again, big ups to the Kansas City running community that has multiple races per weekend that we all have the chance to enjoy. So, anyway, continuing on, you did the Garmin half marathon. What came after that? Keep it going.
So, I do want to your sidebar. I want
to my
build on
sidebar.
that. I've since this whole experiment started of running, I've done a couple of half marathons or long runs in other cities. Nebraska, I did Omaha this year. I did Memphis River Run this year. We did Midland just now.
Right.
And then I did Des Moines.
Yeah.
Des Moines was probably the biggest out of those 3. But that is one that, like, kind of like Garmin, where a lot of people travel to go to that.
Yeah.
Out of all of the communities I've been in and seen and witnessed their support system and who they are, like, Kansas City is definitely by and far the most superior running support system. And, like, there's just so many, like, it doesn't matter where you live, there's a group that meets. There's, donut run, there's coffee runs, there's evening runs, there's brew crew. It's just incredible how many people in the Kansas City area. Yeah, tacos. It really is incredible. So, anyway, back to...
Yep. So, well, of your destination races that you just listed off, which one was your favorite?
Ooh.
I know. These are the hard-hitting questions, baby.
It's not even really that hard, actually. It's kind of sad, but Des Moines, man. I mean,
Des Moines,
2 weeks ago, PR, flat course. Met a bunch of our KCRC friends up there for dinner the night before, and saw a friend of ours finish their first marathon. Des Moines was a really good experience, and I had just come off a week of being really sick, so I had very little expectations of myself, and felt really good and just performed out there, and it was a lot of fun. It was.
If it makes you feel better, we always have very high expectations of you.
Yeah. Don't do that. I will disappoint you so fast.
All right, so you've conquered the half marathon bug, and I know you keep scratching that itch, but you're gonna do something real stupid here. And what are we at? Oh, are we at? Wow, we're under 6 months.
Yeah.
All right, so tell everyone what your next stupid move is.
Jumping off a cliff. No.
That's really stupid. That's beyond normal stupid.
It's what it feels like.
Yeah, it does.
This is March 2nd and 3rd, I think.
Yep.
We're going down to Little Rock. We're going to get that big honking, hopefully a T-Rex. We don't know yet, but it's dinosaur themed finisher medal for my first marathon.
There we go. Yep, so in March of 2024, I know that Kody and I and several others from the Kansas City running community, everyone's starting to already get it lined up to go down to Little Rock, Arkansas, and knock out that half marathon, which is going to be super fun. Like, I'm really excited about this because I've done part of that race before. I've done 14 miles of it before it was canceled due to ice. Boo. So while I've been there and done that, and I've gotten their experience, their expo, nice, their race, nice, the finish festival, very nice-ish. I never got to earn that medal, but you get to go down, and that's going to be your first medal.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it's going to be cool. I'm looking forward to it. I'm really nervous about it, I'll be honest. Probably more nervous than any of my half marathons.
Yeah.
It's all in the training and
for sure.
And the mental training, too, because obviously this is 90% mental, which I don't know if you guys know that yet, but this running stuff is 90% mental.
Well, okay, let's touch on that. Let's go back to this morning in Midland. You didn't run your best race, did you?
No. I didn't expect to, but I did worse than I expected because of my mindset.
Yes. So what happened, and again, we touched on it when we showed off the medals, but when Kody and I got to the start line and we're looking around and we saw those medals, and we talked about this before, how if you get any kind of a defeatist attitude, or if whatever it is just kind of sinks you, you will have a crap run. So without giving away actual times, my time today on a pancake flat race course, when you say today's course was just about as flat as it gets,
I think it was flatter than Des Moines was, and Des Moines was the flattest course I've run.
I ran faster last week at the Garmin Kansas City Marathon, and crazy hilly course. I ran faster last week than I did this week because after seeing those medals and with a cold, dreary morning, long travel, mentally I wasn't there. I think Kody can say much the same thing.
Yeah, we obviously we didn't carb load very well.
Oh no, we did not carb load well at all.
We had barbecue last night for dinner
and beer.
Which I gotta give it to Texas. They are outside of Kansas City. They are the best barbecue I've had, and I've had a lot of barbecue. So hats off for that.
Remember, he said outside of Kansas City. I don't want any hate mail.
Yes, outside of Kansas City. All Kansas City barbecue is superior to anybody else's barbecue.
That's correct.
But outside of that, yeah, their barbecue, really, I mean, that brisket was top notch.
Yeah, the brisket was really good last night. But again, that's not what you want before a half marathon.
No.
And we kind of knew that going into it. And as we're ordering food, I'm sitting there feeling really uneasy, like we're making a terrible mistake here.
Yeah.
But, it was good. But yeah, so the mindset, though, is what really got to us. And we ran that first mile both grumbling. Just, this sucks. Why are we doing this? Everything hurts and I'm dying, which is true. I'm just old and he's fighting injury. And so everything did hurt. But I don't know. We fell into a decent pace. I think, the first 8 miles, we actually did pretty well.
Dude, we powered through that. I mean,
right.
It felt, as much pain as we were both in, it felt really good for me. I was like, I can do this all day. And kind of could have anyway.
Mm-hmm.
One thing they did, so we were talking about the mentality part of it.
Yep.
didn't carb load, didn't get a great night's sleep because we're both sleeping in a hotel that we've never been to before.
Right.
After a long day of travel, get up early, get out there. We see the medals, a little bit more knocks you down.
Yep.
And then it wasn't a lot of crowd support.
There was none.
So,
I mean, there were a couple families who were in front of their house, and that's another issue that we had was the course, I think. As in, if a family came out of their house, you got a little crowd support, but that was few and far between because the weather was meh, and all we did was run through neighborhoods.
Yeah.
There was no main road, and okay, I'm okay with that because, wow, if you haven't been to Midland, Texas, that place is insane. It's an oil town. And so there are just semis and trucks and a lot of pickup trucks flying up and down the road. I'm actually kind of glad we didn't see a lot of main road action because somebody probably would have gotten hit. But yeah, we didn't have crowd support. We were just back in neighborhoods, so it's not like the Garmin Kansas City Marathon where you're running by every great Kansas City landmark that there is. Yeah. Of course, if we ran by a Kansas City landmark in Midland, Texas, that would be a problem. I think we'd have an issue there. But yeah, all this stuff really kind of took it out of you mentally. And I'll tell you where I died. I know exactly where I died on that course. I'm chugging along and I'm hating life. And I see the mile marker ahead of me. And in my mind, I'm like, yes, there finally is mile marker 12. All right, 1 mile left. I get to that mile marker. It's mile marker 11. I had 2 miles left. I even pulled my phone out of my flip belt to double check. Now, granted, it said it was 11.25 because of how long that course was. But yeah, that is definitely something that can take it out of you. Have you had something like that happen before where you kind of assumed one thing was coming and that wasn't the case?
Yeah, absolutely. And I want to clear things up and just say that this is no knock on the race. I mean, the course was great.
Yeah.
It's just we already have this kind of compiling effect of negativity.
Yes.
And as some of you guys will know, you can be kind of in a negative mindset or not having a great run. But if you get a really cool crowd behind you,
it makes a difference.
That can will you to a finish line.
100%. 100%.
And so it was just like one more thing we didn't really have to kind of push us forward. It was pure determination, really. Is what got us through.
Yeah, it really was. It really was.
But back to what before I started actually keeping track of my distances with my watch, there's a couple of races where I thought I was really close to the finish line, and I still had 3/4 to a mile left, and it is a sinking feeling.
It is.
You're giving it your all, and you're like, I've got nothing left. I'm almost done, and then you realize you're not almost done at all.
Yep, you're not even close. Well, I mean, you're close, but not as close as you'd like to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we definitely had that. And yeah, like Kody said, no knock on the race. None at all. These issues were our issues, but again, it speaks to the mentality that you have to have when you're going into a race where you can show up to the finish line defeated. And we've talked about this before. If you show up to the finish line defeated, I mean, yeah, all you're going to be able to do is will out that race. You're not going to be able to do a whole lot else. You're probably not going to PR. You're probably not going to have a great time. And you're going to grumble a lot when you cross the finish line, which is all the things that we did today.
Yeah. Yeah. But that says a lot, though. I mean, even in those circumstances where I'm telling you, 8 or 9 out of 10 people are going to give up. They're not going to do that. It could have been so easy because we ran with the 5K and 10K groups.
Yep.
It would have been so easy to take that left turn and just go with the 5K or the next left turn and go with the 10K and say, you know what? It's the same medal. Let's just pack it in, get back to Kansas City early.
Yep, and trust me, the thought crossed our minds.
And that's where the do hard things comes in. Like, runners are a special breed because where most people would just give up and be like, I'm not doing this today. I'm not feeling good. I'm not performing well. There's no crowd support. It's rainy. You go out there and you do it anyway, and you will yourself to doing something that very few people do.
Right. And that's even knowing that you're not going to get what you want at the finish.
Yeah.
Whether it be the medal that you want, the time that you want, or really even just the enjoyment. And one of the other things we talk about is that, a DNF, a did not finish, is, I mean, that's probably, I don't know, that's a bad word. DNF, did not finish, is a bad word in the running world. but like a dead freaking last is better than it did not finish, and all of that is better than it did not start. And again, there was thoughts of packing it and go home, get back in the car and leave. Because
we talked about that on the way over to the race line. Like, hey, we're down here. We've paid for this. We made it here.
Mm-hmm.
We've somewhat mentally prepared. This is not going to be my first DNF.
No.
I don't care if I crawl across that finish line.
Right.
We're going to get there. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. So everyone just kind of keep that in the back of your minds. Like we know that sometimes it is hard. And whether it's physically hard because of injury or it's mentally hard because you didn't prepare or you're not feeling it. And there are definitely races where you're just not feeling it. Like you said, though, doing the hard things is what really counts and just powering through. So that brings us to, and if you listen, I hope you listened to all of last week's show because I told you I was going to talk about this. You actually put a post out there about doing the hard things and about the people who support you versus the people who don't.
Yeah.
You can give the Cliff Notes version if you want, but what prompted that kind of a post? Because I thought it was very prophetic and it came on a race day. So did something happen that made you think that, or did you just, hey, I want to throw this out there to the rest of us?
Yeah, that's kind of where I was at is there's ebbs and flows through life.
Mm-hmm.
And with those ebbs and flows come friends and leave friends.
Yes.
Nothing personally happened to me, but it was something more that I witnessed. It was just seeing people out there supporting and cheering each other on, like you cheering on complete strangers.
Yeah.
And just that thought of having a close friend group or even family members that don't show up, they don't support you, they don't say, hey man, that's really cool that you did that. It's in the race world, it's one thing, but it speaks to life as well. Like if you don't have people if you're a small business owner and you don't have people that are supporting your small business, or if you're in college at 35 or 40 years old trying to get your degree to better yourself, or if you're doing runs and you don't have people that are in your life constantly that are cheering you on, in my mind, they're not friends. Those aren't people that really want to see you succeed, because if they want to see you succeed, they'd be there for you every single time. They would at least say something to you of,
right,
hey, great job out there. You know what I mean? Or, great job in class, whatever that may be.
Great podcast.
Yeah, there you go. I mean, we need that stuff. You talked about self-image a couple weeks ago, too.
Yeah.
And that's stuff that can hurt your self-image or also help. Now, it's obviously your self-image, but when you have a bunch of people around you that aren't supporting you and something that is a lifelong goal of yours, that's defeating.
It is. Oh, yeah, it absolutely is defeating. Woo!
Almost as defeating as this guy's Ford Explorer.
Right.
Not a sponsor.
Where are you going, buddy? Ooh, sorry. All right, anyway. Yeah, no, Ford Explorer, not a sponsor. Sorry, guy. Yeah, we're caught up in a little do-si-do right there. Well, we are in the South.
Yeah.
So, okay, well, yeah, I wanted to make sure that we clarified that, but it is very true. Because I'm sure a lot of times, sorry, too many ums, you can tell I'm out of my element here. But a lot of times we have people who, how many times have you said someone, oh, I'm a runner, and their first remark is disparaging?
Yeah.
Oh, you're going to blow your knees up.
You do that.
Yeah, why do you do that? Oh, that's dumb. Oh, I'd never do that. Your knees. Yeah, a lot of times, and this also can speak to the running world. If somebody comes at you and says, oh, hey, I do this, don't make your first remark disparaging, because that's what they're going to remember about it. Mm-hmm. Even, oh, no, I'm just kidding. There's truth behind every just kidding. So always remember that one. So, all right, well, I know that we're getting close to the time limit already, if you can believe that, but I want to know, before we're done with Kody, dream races. Give me 5 of them. Go.
Okay, dream races. So let's start at the bottom.
Number 5.
Number 5 is going to be the Antarctic race. The reason it's number 5, it's going to be really cold and it's really expensive.
Yeah, money.
Number 4, I'll go with Key West.
Okay, yeah, you were just looking at their medals today.
Yeah, I love Key West. I would love to go down there and spend a week down there and then also run a race. 3 would probably be the Disney World Dopey Challenge.
Dopey, yep, okay.
Also very expensive and kind of hard to get into.
Very expensive.
2 for me would be Boston.
Okay.
Because it is kind of the pinnacle of the sport.
Mm-hmm.
And then the number 1 is the original from Athens, the marathon.
Yeah. So actually, over in Greece, running. Oh, geez, that would be something.
Yeah,
to do that race.
that would be.
Yeah.
It would be very difficult.
Yeah, it definitely would. So
if you think Kansas City hills are bad, go to Greece.
Yeah, go to Greece. They're basically on the sides of mountains over in there. Jeez Louise. Yeah, that would be something, though.
What about you? Hold on. Let's,
whoa.
We know you've... I'm going to turn this back to you.
Oh, yikes.
We know Boston was your pinnacle.
Yes.
You hit that this year.
Yes.
What are 5 dream races left for you? Can you think of anything that's like, you know what, I have to do that as a runner before I hang up the old, I don't know what you wear, Ghosts?
Yeah, before I hang up the old Brooks or whatever. Yeah, not a sponsor. Okay, so I will take 3 of them and lump them in as one. You know, I'm 3 stars away from all the world marathon majors. So, of course, I want the other 3. I want Tokyo, London, and Berlin. So that's number 1 on my list of dream races still yet to do. Number 2 would be the Dopey Challenge. I really want Dopey just because of the challenge around it. If you're not familiar with Dopey, even though we've talked about it before, that's Thursday you wake up and run a 5K. Friday you get up and run a 10K. Saturday you get up and run a half marathon. Sunday you get up and run a full marathon. All in Orlando, all through Disney property. And yes, you get a medal for each race, and then you get 2 medals for completing. Because if you just do the half marathon and the full marathon, that's the Goofy Challenge. You get the Goofy Challenge medal, and then you get the Dopey Challenge medal for doing all 4.
You got to be goofy and dopey to sign up for something like that.
You got to be downright dumb to do all that. No offense, Fields. Love you guys, and I know you do it all the time. I don't know how you do it all the time, but you do it all the time.
My knee hurt just thinking about it.
Everything just hurt thinking about that. It's also because we've been in the car for hours after a half marathon. That was a terrible decision. Let's see. I need 3 more. Boy, what are some other ones on that list? The Big Sur Marathon in San Francisco. Definitely on the list. I hear that race is just stunningly beautiful as you run along Big Sur, which is on the Pacific Coast Highway kind of area. Another one would be the Anchorage Run Fest up in Anchorage, Alaska. That also beautiful. They do say that you will see moose and bears along the course, so just plan for that. The moose, I'm cool with. Bears, not so much. I don't think I could outrun a bear, and nor do I really want to try.
You just got to be faster than the person behind
you. For a guy who does the Back of the Pack podcast, that worries me.
Yeah.
That worries me. Now I feel like we need something bear-related for the show. Lastly, number 5, there's a lot of different ones that go around for number 5. The Missoula Marathon up in Montana sounds super fun, mainly because I've always wanted to go to Montana.
Yeah.
I think Montana would be super great. A lot of the other races down in Florida hold special appeal to me. I think those would be super fun.
Not Hawaii.
Oh, yeah, the Honolulu Marathon. I think there's one in Honolulu. That one would be amazing. And then, of course, I wouldn't mind doing anything like if there's the Dublin Marathon in Ireland. That would be, I'm sure, beautiful.
Yeah.
So number 5 is a lot of different races that I think would be just amazingly fun or beautiful or revolve around great trips, because I have no problem using marathons to plan a trip.
Yeah.
Much to my wife's chagrin.
And you know what? I want to, because you talked about after Boston how you kind of were just kind of roaming around at that point. You didn't really know what was next. You felt like you had accomplished it.
For sure.
As a runner, it's great to have a list.
Yes.
When you cross something off, add something to it. That way it gives you something to look forward to next. Even if it's not number 1, maybe it's number 4. Maybe you can add another number 4. Gives you something to keep moving towards. If you got all 50 states, maybe look at the continents.
Which would be amazing. And there is like a 7 continents club that you could do.
Yeah. Good luck with Antarctica, but yeah.
Yeah, but it's doable. It's actually a thing, if you can believe that.
Yeah.
Always update your list. The lists are ever changing. Yeah, if you get something scratched off, go out there and research and find something that speaks to you, and then add that to your list. I think as runners, we always just want to keep going. You know, that's what we do at a race. We keep moving forward. Well, that's what we do when we cross a race off. Keep moving forward. Go find another race, something to challenge you, keep you motivated, keep you running. Right now, I've got the Good Life Habsy next weekend. You've got Yeti, so we've got to keep moving towards that. A lot of us are doing Loggerhead in November, so that's coming up. So there's always something. That's what's great about our running community. There's always something coming up. There's always something out in the world that you can do. So just keep looking for what sparks your interest, what gets you fired up, and what you want to do. So, all right. Any closing words?
No, stay motivated, stay humble, keep grinding.
Like, share, and comment on the podcast. I'm sure he meant all of that as well.
Yep.
The YouTube channel is up. The new YouTube channel is up. So if you're out there, you want to do a search for the Back of the Pack podcast, you can do that all one word. So at the Back of the Pack podcast. It's also been splattered all over Facebook as I'm trying to get everyone over to the new channel. Again, I think that was really kind of our last big hurdle in the rebranding. A lot of people liked the new shirt that I wore today for the race. I thought it looked very snazzy. So credit to Mrs. Back of the Pack podcast for knocking that one out. And then we'll be back next week to talk about Good Life Halvesy up in Lincoln, Nebraska, a race I've never done before. So we'll dive into that, and then we'll just see what else finds us. Right?
Absolutely.
There we go. All right, everyone, for the Back of the Pack podcast, I'm Kyle Walker, your host. Thank you very much for joining us, as always. This is special guest Kody. You will see him at both days of the Yeti Challenge. So make sure you go up there and tell him just how amazing he was on the podcast and just how damn adorable he is. Look at this handsome devil. It's just embarrassing. I'm trying. All right, everyone, we'll see you next week. Have a great week of training and be safe out there because it's getting a little chilly. Bye.